Thank you so much, cousin, for having this convo with me. I'm excited because Father's Day is coming up.
Mhm.
And I just want to highlight all the amazing fathers I have in my life, right? And you, of course, being my cousin is one of them. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember this post that I posted on Facebook a while back with I had like all of my cousins from my father's side and my mother's side that
Mhm.
I'm like, these are like, people need to know who these men are, especially if you're Black, right? And I feel like sometimes media paints this narrative of just a negative narrative of Black fathers. And so
Right.
thank God for social media where we
Mhm.
get to put out a different narrative, a different
Yes.
story.
Right.
And yes, thank you so much for having this convo with me.
Well, I am privileged to be able to share with everyone our normal dialogue. We're just making it public. But I appreciate those kind words and the opportunity to share on your platform.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. I love you like fat kid love cake.
I love you
So,
too. Love
I'm
you
honored.
too.
I'm honored to be on your platform to share.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, yes, I have a few questions.
Uh-huh.
And my first question is first of all, this, like I said, is about fathers' relationships with their children, specifically Black fathers. And so, my first question is, what was your relationship like with your father, my Uncle Gene?
Yes, Uncle Gene. I think we had a good relationship. My father is not communicative. He's not a big communication guy. However, as I got older, I understood that his love language was different, and his love language was that of presence.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there with us. He never left. As far as I know, he's been faithful to my mom, and he shows in his ministry of helps that if we need him to be there for us or to support us in any way, he's there. So I've learned as I've matured to appreciate his love language, and it might not be him telling me verbally that he loves me or that he's proud of me, but I know by his actions that he is.
Yeah.
So that has been a maturation process in terms of processing and kind of reimagining what love looks like. So love doesn't look like sometimes it doesn't look like what we think it should look like, but people are still showing love in their own unique way, or in a way in which they have the capacity to do so. So
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that about him, and I accept what he has to offer,
Yeah.
and I know that he loves me and I love him, and our relationship was good, is good. I've had changes, going through my own changes in terms of me coming into my manhood and trying to kind of uh, you know buck up against when I was doing my thing in the street. Just him being a parent, but. Um, One thing I do know, he's always been a advocate of us getting education.
Yeah.
So in those ways, so long story short, we have a good relationship, and I think I was blessed to
Yeah.
be able to have my father in our household the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
because so many of my friends did not have that narrative, did not have that opportunity. So I'm blessed in that way.
Yeah, that's one thing I admire about your family, is that you guys had your parents there for, what is it, 40? They've been married for 40 years.
They're running up on 40, 47 or 48, I think, close to 50. So they've been married a long time.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I like that you mentioned love language, because sometimes people just relate love languages with romantic
Mhm,
relationships. And
mhm,
no, and
mhm.
that even as friends, relationships with your family, co-workers, there's always a love language that you can kind of like zone in on, kind of like see, and then
Yeah, yeah.
you know acknowledge it. Yeah. And
Right,
so
right.
yeah,
I think oftentimes we make the mistake of um trying to impute on people what our expectations are, might be a little might be unreasonable.
Mhm. Mhm.
And sometimes what we may want or need or desire might not be in that person's capacity, or they're showing it in a different way than what we want to expect. So I think it takes a level of maturity and kind of
It does.
perspective
It does.
to make to accept persons where they are and love them however they are.
I could end this right now. That's a no, seriously, because I feel like I had to learn that
Hmm.
with my father, who is not here with us anymore. But
Hmm.
I went through a very like trying to figure him out, and
Right,
then
right.
I honestly 2016, the last time I saw him, that year it was like the Lord was just like, just love him. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah,
want you to do is
yeah,
love him. You ain't got to change him. You ain't got to do nothing else. Just love him.
yeah, yeah. And then also us as children, right? We we sometimes forget that our parents are people,
Mm-hmm.
and they going through their own changes. They have their own challenges, and sometimes, to be honest and frank, sometimes we don't fit into that those changes or those challenges that they're having. And while they're trying to work things out, we are over here wanting and desiring stuff from them that in their lives they're not at that point at that moment. So you could be a parent, but still you don't have that much to give because you still working out your own stuff.
Right. Mm.
We don't give our parents the grace that God affords, and we should afford
Yeah.
other people. So they people like we are. They're gonna make
That's so true.
mistakes,
Yeah.
and I'm a parent, and I've made mine, so I get it.
No, that's good. That's good. So with that, so how has your relationship with your dad influenced your relationship with my baby cousin?
um, I think it's influenced because I want to be more. I wanted to have more of a of a I'm scared to use the word friendship,
Mm-hmm.
but it is. I wanted my daughter to feel that I'm her friend. However, there's a line,
Yeah.
and that there's a relationship there where it's just not the title that I'm her father and that's my daughter, but that she knows me,
Yeah.
and I want to. So I use that for whatever I didn't get from my dad. I want to make sure that I give to her. So I want to be emotionally there. I want to be available. I want to be somebody that she can confide in
Mm-hmm.
and be of support,
Right.
especially emotionally. That's what I want to make sure that I'm there for her. So it has influenced me in that way,
Right.
to try to fill the voids that perhaps I might have wanted, and be that for her.
What's most challenging with like with that raising her? Like what's the most challenging? And you have a daughter. I would think that it would be different, right? Raising a son than raising a daughter. You don't have experience there, but
Right.
what's the most challenging thing about raising a daughter today in 2022?
I just think in general, being one who wants to protect and keep
Yeah.
the princess kind of image in my mind. um the challenging thing is giving enough space for her to live her life,
Mm,
without her feeling that I'm judging her,
mm-hmm.
or that whatever she has in her mind about me, that it doesn't that doesn't block her from progressing and growing. So the challenge is just kind of letting my hands off of her a bit and kind of let her walk her journey on her own and make her mistakes. So that's the challenge, and allowing her to be uniquely her.
Yeah.
You know, that's been challenging. And she's grown, she's pretty,
Yeah.
she's smart. I've been a dude. I know what they want, what they, how the games they play, but I can't be there all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
just kind of just the challenge is to let God handle that
Yeah.
and just be there for her when and if she fall in my best and the best way I can without it stunning her growth.
Right. How do
Mhm.
you like, I don't know if I don't I love our parents, right? And
Right.
right, they were raised in a different time.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like I don't know, because I think my mother was a little bit different, but it was kind of like a do what I say,
Mm-hmm.
not really the relationship is not as come and talk to me. Like let's
Oh, right. No.
kind of relationship that you're trying to create with Brianna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do you create that safe space? Like what do you intentionally do to create a safe space so she can feel comfortable like coming to you and
Right.
sharing?
So I had a conversation with Tama
Mm-hmm.
about it, about my reaction to information. So whatever she is trying to convey, I got to make sure that I'm not freaking out and she's seeing me freak out. So
Yeah.
my reaction to whatever she says has to be in a tone and a way in which um doesn't bring her level of anxiety and like I can't talk to him about this because
Mm,
it's gonna cause me to feel a way of and level of anxiety, and he can't handle it.
right.
And, I'm in a profession where I'm counseling or giving spiritual advice rather, and hearing a lot of things from other persons. And if I can be able to sit and calmly and give that same hopefully sound advice, I have to be very intentional on creating that same space, because the tragedy is this: ministering to other people and can't minister to my own blood. So so that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to be the guy who is able to help everybody else and just can't emotionally handle it when it's in my own household.
Mm-hmm.
So that that
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've been trying to do. I hope I think we've gotten much better in that area as she's gotten older.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear her answer this question though. To
That would
see,
have been nice for her to be on here for Father's Day. That would have been nice. I know.
I'm hoping that that's what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
she would be better to answer that than I am.
Right. Do you feel
Mhm.
like you ever had like a place where your parents was like, come and share? All right. Did you ever feel like you can go to them? You could go to them and share anything, or it was kind of like,
As a child, no, I didn't feel that way. More with my mother, of course.
mm,
We were able to share more, and as we got older, I shared more. But as a child, no, I didn't feel that I was able to. I'm sure she was open to it. I just did,
right,
some of the things I wasn't proud of that I had to share, and and you just I'd rather not have those kind of conversations with my mom.
right.
But no, I think I didn't. In this situation with me and Brianna, I think we've cultivated that relationship
Yeah. I
a
like
bit
it.
more. Mm-hmm.
I like it. One thing that stands out to me, I know this is like probably this isn't doesn't make up your whole relationship, but when you guys danced together at her
Uh-huh.
Sweet 16,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it was a very it kind of shows what to me what your relationship is like.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. You guys do talk. You guys communicate. You guys like to be creative and who came up with that idea first of all to dance for her to dance together at her
I
Sweet
think
16?
I think she asked me would I,
Oh, okay.
and I think she was shocked that I told her yes, that I would. And then we started choreographing and all that, and
That was good.
just having a little fun with it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I wanted to be her dad that day,
right,
and don't worry. I didn't care about how I looked or what anybody felt. That was her day,
right.
and I wanted her to have a good time
Don't
and let
make
her
me cry.
know that I was Team Bree.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was an amazing day. We had a really good time.
That was fun. That was good.
Mhm.
That was a sight to see. That was really good. So with that, what gives you most joy with raising her? Like, what joy do you get out of? raising them?
Now, I'm very blunt and honest about this. I love having a child. I do not enjoy being a parent.
Hmm.
I
Okay,
don't enjoy.
explain.
I have not enjoyed being a parent. Parenthood is full of anxiety.
I'm
It's
sure.
full of worry,
Mm-hmm.
and you are responsible for a whole human,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and a lot of the time you're not with them, can't protect them, and then they going through their changes, and Bree didn't live in my household, so very little. When she was very little, it was almost weekly. I had to adjust to a new person because she
Mm.
was changing so quickly. But to answer the question, what I enjoy is I enjoy seeing her blossom
Yeah.
into her own self,
Right.
and seeing little glimpses of me in her, and that kind of coming out, and she'll say certain things, or,
Yeah.
or mention a conversation that we had in the car a long time ago that I thought she forgot, and say, Daddy, you said that, blah blah blah, and bring that up. So just kind of seeing her develop into her own person, with her own goals and ambition. I love seeing that. I love
Yeah.
seeing that. And this is one thing that I did not anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Brianna has a desire to want to know God early,
Mm.
and I've always had conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
Always, she sat in Bible studies and all that. But just by the conversation and the questions that she has now about certain things, and just her saying I've been in church, and I know you're preaching, blah blah blah, but I want to know. I want to know God for myself. I want to read the Bible, and if I have questions, will you answer them for me? Of
Mm.
course.
That's
So
good.
that was really amazing, that the seeds that were planted are blossoming,
Mm-hmm.
and God is making God's self, manifesting God's self in terms of, the scripture that the child will not depart. That you do what you need to do, train up a child in a
Yeah.
way, and it will not depart. And I'm seeing that being lived out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what in my head I was saying. I was like, no, he's doing his part. He's training.
Mm-hmm.
You're following the word. You're training her up in the way that she should go.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
her asking those questions, her being inquisitive about the word of God, like it's that shows that you are doing the right thing. Yeah,
Amen. To
yeah.
God be the glory.
I'm not sure what question I want to ask from this, but while you were talking about her stages, I was like, I've said this to my friend Ruthie before. Um, Children, like as from a young child, as we get older, we change over and over, right? Like we go from baby, toddler, adolescent, what is it? Teenage, young adult,
Mm-hmm.
adult. And sometimes from my experience and just being kind of transparent, it's hard sometimes for the parent to change along with that. I think as a parent, from what I'm observing, you have to be able to change along or be
Mm-hmm.
okay with your child evolving,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
know, and I'm just a teacher, right? And I get children for 1 year, 10 months, and I can see their changes. And I'm like, because I feel like they are my children for 6 hours, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, but you guys have them for their whole lives. And I'm like, is that challenging? Is that hard to like have to like be okay with your child evolving and you having to evolve as well?
Yeah, yeah, it can be. It can be. I think it was challenging for me because, and perhaps challenging for her,
Yeah.
because she was in two households, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's coming. I got my quirks and things about me that I think in terms of parenthood and what I'm allowed, and certain things over at home, and then she has to kind of navigate through what daddy will let me do, what mommy will let me do,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of her own internal evolution, and
Yeah.
trying to navigate that between us two. So I think it would have been easier if she was in the household,
Mm-hmm.
and you're there with her every day, and it's almost seamless,
Yeah.
because you're there and you,
Gotcha.
you see it. But sometimes it was challenging, and when she was younger. Um, but isn't that life though? Life is about us all evolving, and there's going to be evolution in terms of your child and their thought processes,
Yeah.
and especially someone her age who grew up in social media. This is been her norm.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that we got later on in life, but this is all she knows. So they are exposed in a way that we weren't exposed. They are much more quicker and advanced. So uh, in some ways that's challenging,
Right.
but I like to leave space for people to evolve and change, because I want somebody to let me evolve and change.
For real.
I hope and pray I'm not the same person I was at 36 and 26 that now I'm be
For real.
46.
My kids are like, because I always tell them, I'm saying, I go, you guys are going to the third grade next year. And then they'll go, some of them will say, no, we want to stay here. I said, no, friends, y'all got to go and grow. I got to go and grow. I love y'all, but I want y'all to grow and grow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, this question is not really about your father-daughter relationship, but I want to know, because I have this experience in my class going on, and I'm trying to understand it. And I think maybe you can help me with this. Do you think there's ever a situation or circumstance where a father might not be able to take care of his child?
The only way that can or should that can happen, uh, the circumstance would be that the mom is not allowing that to happen. So certain circumstances, bad breakups, parents using the child as a pawn, that type of thing can happen, and some people, unfortunately, because of their own hurt or trauma, allow that said father not to be in the life. But that still does not give the father the license not to try and fight to be in that child's life. So the same way that mothers will take a father to court, the father, if they need to, they need to go to court to fight for their child.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this all the time, and uh, it might be a little stereotypical what I'm saying, but from my experience, most mothers have the mindset that that's their child
Mm.
because they birthed them and carried them.
Gotcha.
But I've always fought against that that child is just as much as mine as the mother. And I've always felt that way, that if at any moment I needed to be the primary caregiver, I don't think a mother is the best parent just because that's the mama,
Right.
or I can be just as good a parent to the child, and I should aspire to be as strong of a parent or as much of a parent in the life of my child, because that is part of me too. So I've always been of that opinion, that just because she's with her mom and that's the primary care. I fought in our divorce to make sure that I was had joint custody,
Mm-hmm.
because I always wanted to make sure that I had my say, because that's my child too.
Right. Right.
And I think
Yeah.
we let ourselves off the hook if we see, she carried her and all that. No, that is your
Mm-hmm.
blood, flesh and blood. That's your
Yeah.
seed. That's your child. And so it can happen,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't allow it to happen.
Yeah. I'm thinking about a particular person that I know. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, this particular dad that I have in my class, and he seems like he wants to be right, and I think if he can, and I just sometimes his son looks really sad sometimes, and he mentions his father a lot, and so one day we were talking, and I guess he was trying to understand, why his child was behaving in a certain way, yada yada, and we just trying to come up with like ideas, like how often do you see him, like are you
Mm-hmm.
consistent, yada yada yada. And he's like, sometimes I work and I have to be here, and this is all I couldn't. I was like, God, help me, give me something to say
Mm-hmm.
So he can understand that his child is crying for his love, for his attention. I was
Right.
like, I understand. Yep. Sometimes we have to work. We have to be places. I was like, but can you please just take 5 minutes to call him?
Mm.
And I was asking for every day. I said every day, 5 minutes. If you can't make it somewhere, tell him that you can't be there. Just be like, son, I'm not gonna make it today, but I just wanted to see how you were doing. What are you up to? Like, I'm like,
Right.
a call. That's it. Just a call.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
he thought about it. And I don't know what came from that, but I just was like, just a call. If you ain't able to be there, just call him, text him.
Right.
And so I don't know if I'm saying there's no excuse, but I'm sure there are, like you said, things, circumstances that come up, but just call. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's great advice.
So
And encouraging them, like, make your child needs you.
yeah.
He wants you.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of pain that he's causing, you probably he probably doesn't even isn't aware
Yeah.
of the trauma that he's fostering and putting his child in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a part of a blended family. I am too. And I know that can be just in that can be kind of challenging with, bringing families together where you
Mm-hmm.
have stepmoms and stepdads and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. My question is, like, how have you navigated that? Like, how did you coming into that? How did you navigate or cultivate that relationship with? I don't really like to call. I like the term bonus mom
Bonus
that they
mom. Yeah.
created. I've loved
Yes.
that. And even
Me
in
too.
my family, we don't use step at all. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how did you as the father, the head of the family,
Mm-hmm.
cultivate that relationship with your daughter and your wife?
I love bonus mom too, and
Yeah.
bonus dad. I love that language. But so when Tom and I were dating, I was very intentional about not inserting Brianna into that context while we were dating. Because I felt that Tama wouldn't have been a great influence. Uh, Not that I thought that it wasn't going to go any further, but I just wanted to be the example of how I wanted to be treated on the other end. And I wanted to show that I had the commitment that Brianna shouldn't be around, our culture, calling her auntie, and then later on she becomes, just,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not fair to Brianna for me on my weekend to be sitting up dating while I should be spending time with her. So I was just very, very adamant about, listen, let's just wait, whatever. So by the time I finally proposed, that was about the time. So that was 5 years later. Now, of course, Tom was aware and of Brianna, and so, and we were in certain settings, but she didn't know that was,
Right.
whatever. So once I proposed, then I had a conversation, and so one of the papers that Brianna had to write was about this particular subject, how it was a prompt question, and she chose that to write about.
Uh-huh.
And she wrote about how her and I sat down at the living room and had that conversation about it. And I was telling her how I wanted to make sure that she respect Tama in a way, in a fun way. So how, I started doing, her and I sat down. I told her that I was engaged. I told her that, she's going to be my wife.
Yeah.
But I love you. I still love you. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
I just want you to call. We need to make up a name for her. I didn't want her to call her Miss
Yeah.
Tom and all of that. So that's how Tommy was born. We
Mm-hmm.
went online and me and her did that together.
That's cool.
Found
I
that
like that.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from then, their relationship blossomed, and they're wonderful together. I find joy in seeing them interact
That's good.
together. Mm-hmm.
That's good. No, and they interact very well. As I was creating the questions, I was like, I love the fact that she calls her. So guys, his wife is named Latama.
Mm-hmm.
Guys took Tommy.
We took mommy and Tama.
Mommy and Tommy.
Yeah,
Tama, right?
right,
That's
right.
so cool. Tommy. I love that. No, that's good. That's good. Because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, I mean, I understand. It's sometimes bringing the two families together can be really challenging. But in the same way that you did it with Tama, my stepdad, my bonus dad, he did it similar. He sat me down, had the biggest knot in my throat, like, what's happening? That was me at the time. But yeah, I remember him saying, "You're not losing a mother, you're gaining a father."
Oh
I'll
wow.
never forget that phrase.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like,
That's a
okay.
powerful phrase. Yeah.
I was like, all right. But yeah, that's good. That's good that it's good when it works. When it
Mm-hmm.
works,
Mm-hmm.
that's really good.
Right.
So my last question,
All right.
and you've amazing, right? Amazing, amazing. By
Thanks.
the way, my cousin is the pastor of my new church family, Second Baptist Church in Baldwin. Tell him,
Yes.
Maurice.
Yes. Second Baptist Church of Baldwin, 800 McKenna Place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Exciting ministry, budding movement. So I'm having a wonderful time and inviting all in the area to
Yep.
come through.
Come through. Come through.
And you did a fantastic job helping us out last week.
Thank you for having me. We had fun. We
Yeah,
had
yeah,
fun.
right.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. Shout out to SBC. So actually, I'm looking. I have two questions before.
Okay.
Sorry. Like, so what's the most important piece of advice you've given Brianna?
I think the most important piece of advice that stuck with her, I believe,
Okay.
is I've told her on numerous occasions that I want you to learn from me.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn what you want to be, and you can learn from me what you don't want to be.
That's good.
So whatever you see, always use me as a learning tool, because some ways I'm going to perhaps parent you that you might not appreciate, and you may say, when I become a parent, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that different. Or there might be things that you appreciate that I'm doing, and you want to perpetuate that, and you're learning. And I told her, in life, always learn from people.
Yeah.
And you will learn what you don't want to be, what you don't want to perpetuate, and what you do want to perpetuate. Mm-hmm. So that's the advice that I think that has stuck.
Yeah, I like that you're, in a sense, you're being very transparent and saying that I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like eat the meat, spit out the bone.
Yeah.
Spit out the bone and go forth. You know.
Yeah, but
I think
use me to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I feel like a lot of parents, many of us should be like that. Yeah. Let the children know that you are not perfect. You have made mistakes, and like you said, learn from them.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to make them.
Absolutely. Last question. How are you leaving legacy for your child?
That's an interesting question. I'm right now, one of my most important things is I'm trying to leave a financial legacy, right? I grew up in the projects of Brookline projects in Brooklyn.
Shout out to Brookline.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
Yes.
Williams Avenue specifically. But,
okay.
but never felt poor as a child, right? I never felt that way, but as you grow and learn, and it's like, man, we were in tough situation, tough circumstances. And being in that context causes you to have to fight a lot more when your economic status isn't that where you're inheriting money, or your parents are able to set you up in a way to succeed. So, so I'm trying to make sure that I leave her something, that I can pass on to her, whether it's property or finances, or making sure that my insurance, if something was unfortunately happened to me, that I'm able to leave her something. So I'm certainly, that is on my mind, to leave a legacy. I think somewhere in the Bible says that if you don't leave legacy, or you're worse than an infidel, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure that my child is able to inherit something tangible, right? In terms of legacy, I'm trying to live my life in a way that my last name means something to her.
Mm-hmm.
And because she is a offspring of mine, not that I want to put pressure on her to cause her to feel a level of anxiety because she's a McRae, but I want to leave legacy that she's proud of being a McRae, and knows that there are some expectations and that things that she should inherit, that she will inherently have to live up to, or aspire to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying she has to do everything that I want to do, but and since she was a little child, I told her, I used to, when she was in the car, I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Rihanna McRae." And what do we strive for? She used to be excellence.
I love it.
And she was little, and she'd be driving. So I know that in her, she knows that there's an expectation, that you may not gain or accomplish everything, but that you striving and pushing and working to live up to a standard that we're trying to cultivate in terms of of who we are as our blood lineage. So that's what I want. I hope I'm doing that by my example, that she's seeing me still at the age of 40, 46, pushing 50, still learning, still going to school, still have goals, still have purpose, being very goal oriented and aspiring for more and wanting more. And I hope that she's learning that from me. And that's the legacy I want. That to never be satisfied. You always can make yourself better, do more, be better. So that's what I hope. I hope I'm not pressuring her. So it's a fine line. So I often tell her that there's no pressure. We're not in competition. But I want to raise the standard, and hopefully that you'll carve out your own lane and make your own McRae lane, or McRae, if she hyphens her name or whatever. But she'll know that she come from good stock. That's the legacy that I want to leave her.
That's beautiful. I'm sure she is definitely proud of you. She is like, that's my father. When I leave off this, I'm just because I'm a crybaby, so I'm gonna just cry. No, I appreciate this, and this is, I just know that she's proud of you. She has this example. You got both are in school at the same time. You guys are, and I know it's just like, that's my father. That's the standard. That's the standard. I know if I go somewhere else, you're gonna be like, no, Jess, I don't want to talk about that. But whoever comes, I'm just saying, as she gets older, whoever comes into her life, there's a standard that has been set. Because her father is doing all the things, okay? Like, he set a standard. Spiritually, you're there emotionally for her, and like, you got to come correct.
Hello. And I used to be offended by that, as far as you be dating women, or and the father, or I would hear that about the father talking about, I got to make sure that whoever she marries, because I'm giving my child to you, and there's a certain level of expectation that I've treated her, and I want that. But I totally get that now. Totally get it now. Like, man,
I've said this to men. I've been like, how would you treat your daughter? Like, how would you want your daughter to be treated?
Yeah.
That should solve that should it. That should be it, right? Like, however you want your daughter to be treated, treat me the same way.
So you somebody's daughter.
somebody's daughter.
Facts. Yep.
That's good.
Yeah. So that's going to be another challenge I'm gonna have to, but not be so hard on
Yeah.
the guy, and
Right.
he's evolving too, and all this other stuff. But just can you have a job? Can you have a degree? Can you love the Lord?
Love the Lord.
Let's just do the bare minimum, and I'll be happy. You don't need to get no doctorate. You don't need to, but just be about something.
Be about something. Yeah. Yeah. Oof, that's good. That's good. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. I have
Thank
fun.
you.
I
Thank
have
you.
fun.
Yes.
This is one of the I might be a little monotone and all, but I've learned to think before you might
You're
have a
good.
little
No, you're good with
pause in
this.
there.
No. You
I
answered.
try to be as truthful and authentic, and answer it in a way that that's coming from my heart.
Every time. Yes.
But
Guys,
this is one of my favorite topics. Talking
fatherhood.
about Brianna.
Rihanna. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, crew, this is my cousin, my favorite cousin.
Look, I try to keep that on the low, but it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. I just wanted to, just highlight you, honor you, because you are definitely a great dad, and I see it, and I know others do. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say thank you. I can't wait for others to see this. They are really good dads, fathers, Black fathers out here doing the thing. Okay. And so, I'm saying thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you again. Thank you for the privilege and honor to anytime I have an opportunity to share with you. I always feel that I'm made better by our conversations. And I love what you're doing. I am super proud of you, and how you have carved out your own ministry lane, and doing it as authentic, and doing it in terms of who you are, and not following any traditional lanes, but you're doing what God put on your heart to do.
Yeah.
And like I told SBC, we couldn't be more proud, and I couldn't be more proud to call you cousin, and more affectionately, my sister.
Yes, yeah. I'm done. So let me stop. Thank you so much, Maurice.
No problem.
Guys, until next time, we'll talk to you later.